Hello everyone and welcome back to another of our F124 hot lap and race setup guides. This time out we're finally here in Europe at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, otherwise known of course as Imola. Yes, a track with so much history in and around Formula 1 and motorsport in general, but I'll be honest, inside F124 it is a very odd driving experience. A bit like Miami last weekend, curbs are the absolute key to getting a good lap around this circuit, with how much more front end you've got on this year's game and how seemingly non-existent the curbs are. Even the sausage curbs around here are very easy to attack, but that does also mean that between the race and free practice or qualifying even, it is a very different circuit as well. Track limits around here are brutal if obviously your league is running on strict track limits. But yeah, let's head out onto the circuit, of course, and talk you through a lap. Of course, as always, timestamps will be linked down in the description below, and we are less than 200 subs away now from 10,000 subscribers, so if these hot lap and setup guides are helping you, please do make sure you hit that sub button as well. But yeah, let's head out then onto the Imola circuit. Well, making your way out of the final corner then here from Imola onto the front straight, despite the fact there's about 4 corners on it. Open up the DRS before you get to the start-finish line. Be very careful that you don't run the car over the white line, but pretty much between here and turn 1, you're just trying to go with A, the line of least resistance, and B, the shortest run in towards that first corner then. So again, over the white line, and then pretty much as you open up the car across this extra grid, you want to try and get the car pointed over on the left-hand side. You've got these beautiful Italian flag curbs as you make your way down in towards turn 1. Nick that first one, but then immediately you want to try and get the car back over to the right-hand side, ready for the first corner. And immediately as we make our way down in towards Tamburello, you want to be aiming to brake just as you go onto this curb there. I generally try to avoid it just in case you run a little bit wide, but making your way down into turn 1, you want to be all the way down in 4th gear, and then yeah, pretty much immediately all over that inside curb, short shift up into 5th, and then all over the inside curb on the exit as well there. Be very careful you don't run too wide as you make your way in through turn 3 and the exit of the Tamburello chicane. You're going to be up into 6th gear there, again allowing the car to run nicely over that exit curb. Into 7th you go as you make your way down in towards the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. Yep, that is how much curb you can afford to take around this circuit. If you're in race trim, you want to be going down 1 gear on your way in, but in qualifying you can leave it in 7th gear, pretty much flat through this first part of the corner, and then braking down 2 gears through the second part. 4th gear in race, 5th gear if you're in qualifying as well there, and try to make sure you use all of the exit curve as well on the outside of the Gilles Villeneuve chicane there. Heading up in towards Tosa, you want to be braking just around the 50-meter board or at that black piece of AstroTurf as well, and you want to get all the way down into 3rd gear. I really tried to turn the car in very late into this corner. It's going to try and unsettle the rear on the exit as well, so be really gentle as you try and roll on the throttle. Try not to short shift if you can, otherwise you're just going to really cost yourself speed right the way up this hill. And as you carry the speed up, you're going to just touch up into 7th gear as you make your way in. Keep the car over on the on the right-hand side even, and then just as you go past the 50-meter board, down 1 gear, tip the car in. Be very careful that you don't run wide on the exit. This is one of those beautiful turns where when you get it hooked up, it is really satisfying there. Aiming for the curbing on the exit, you just don't want to nick it, and as you make your way down in towards Acqua Minerale, you're going to be in 7th gear once again. Qualifying trim, you're probably going to want to go down 1 gear. In race trim even, you want to be going down 1 gear. Qualifying trim, you can take it completely pinned, but pretty much as soon as you get the car squared off through that first part of Acqua Minerale, you really want to be down on the brakes for the second part there. 4th gear, try to avoid the sausage curbs a little bit more and get a best straight line exit as you possibly can. Again though, track limits on the exit there absolutely will catch you out if they get the opportunity. You're going to be up in 7th gear again in qualifying trim, but 6th gear in the race, and you want to be braking just as you make your way onto that curbing on the outside, actually just past the 50-meter board even. 3rd gear on the entry to the chicane, plenty of curb. I like to go down into 2nd to try and gather up the rear end on the exit, and then power down on the throttle as you make your way off of the corner there. Again, you want to use as much of that outside as you possibly can. Thread the car through the slight left over the DRS detection, and then down in towards the right of the final 2 Ravazzas. They're braking about 75 metres out I'm using third gear on the way through the first one, plenty of curb, and trying to then shorten it back a bit of fourth, ready for the second one there to use some of the exit curb, but really try to get a nice straight run there. The gravel as well on the exit is lethal here. It will absolutely catch you out if it gets the opportunity to as well there. And as you power back up towards the start-finish line then, open up the DRS for the one zone around this lap. And that's going to be a lap of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix circuit there. It is a really, you know, it's one of those beautiful examples of easy to learn, difficult to master. But when you get a lap absolutely nailed around here, it is so satisfying. That being said, though, like I said, if you're running in a league or you've got strict track limits on in your career mode, it is ruthless around here. So I would say compromise your line slightly, carry a little bit less speed to avoid picking up warnings and penalties, because others that you're racing against are absolutely going to pick them up as the race goes on. Let's head, though, back to the garage, and I'll talk you guys through the setup. Well, taking a look then back in the garage, you can see we were just under 2 seconds off Thomas Ronhard's lap record time, but more, you know, kind of sensible times done by others. We were about 1.5 seconds away from some very big names there. So, you know, kind of the benchmark that I'm aiming for with these race setups in this series. Taking a look, though, at the setup as we make our way through, of course, Imola, you have got to compromise it slightly because the DRS zone is so long down in towards turn 1. 34-31 wing, I find the best way to go. I actually like to run slightly higher wing than a lot of people do around this venue, because you can use a bit of battery and people just can't quite get close to you if you are in a DRS train. Of course, if you're the one trying to make overtakes on the other hand, maybe you want to lower this down to like 30-27, but ultimately, you know, you want to be able to try and be confident around here. And like I said, you're pretty much guaranteed to make up places as well by other cars picking up penalties. So that slightly higher downforce gives you that slightly extra rotation and is really useful around this circuit. They're 35-45 on the differentials, and then of course 30 on the engine braking as always. Of course, this track is far more about trying to get the nose tipped in. You know, you've only really got the exit of Tosa, the exit of Aqua Minerale, and the chicane as well, where you're really rear end limited. So that's kind of a good balance I found around here to make sure the front is as pointy as you could ever need there. Suspension geometry -3.2, -1.8, and then the toe angles of 0.13 and 0.11. Again, you know, a lot of circuits on this game I find, especially in race trim. Imola, you shouldn't struggle too much with tyre temperature. It can get a little bit bad on the front right, which is obviously very rare inside this game. But yeah, I found this setup works for me, and the tyres are able to stay in good nick throughout a race distance. Yes, you might have to be slightly careful in a couple of places, but overall it is pretty good there without compromising too much. 30-15 on the suspension settings. Again, you're going to be taking a lot of curbs here, so you need those suspension, you know, especially on the rear, to be slightly softer. So again, you can allow the squat to, the rear of the car to squat and decompress there. 13-11 on the anti-roll bars, and then 27-66 on the ride heights. Again, you're going to be taking a lot of curbs, so you want to have that slightly higher up, raised off the ground, just to give you all a little bit more stability as you make your way around a lap as well. Then 97.54 on the brakes as we always run, and then 24 front PSI, 21.4 rear there. Again, generally on this game, the lower PSI, the quicker you're going to be, but of course that comes with the added detriment of picking up more, obviously, tyre heat and tyre wear as well there. So again, this is a good compromise I found that works really nicely around this circuit. A one-stop strategy, mediums over the hards, is going to be the way to go. You actually aren't that tyre limited around this track, but it's actually just the soft tyres don't really last that long. So I would say anywhere from lap 12 to lap 14 to make that switch over from the mediums to the hards, and that will suit you really well around this circuit. Like I said, qualifying or one lap time trial and racing around here, completely different experiences. So really do make sure you're focusing on not picking up those warnings, not running too wide on track limits. I find this circuit as well, where the white line is actually a little way away from the curbs as well, I find it was really tricking me up as well when during my practice as well there. But yeah, thank you all as always so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. If this helps you out as well, obviously we'll be back again very soon. We're getting more and more rumours and rumblings that a new version of the handling model is going to be available inside F1 24. So once I've kind of got more information about that, I'll then decide obviously whether we're going to kind of restart this series or whether we're just going to continue on doing what we're doing as well. But yeah, I'm going to leave you guys then with a hot lap here from the Imola circuit.